All right, let's get started here. Looks like the last couple of people just entered. So we're going to jump right in. So this is the AI advantage, and it's how aesthetic and wellness businesses can book faster and work smarter in 2026. All right. So the first question we always ask, very prevalent now, is AI recommending you or is it replacing you? So AI is already here. It's already changing how people find you, if they trust you, and how they book with your business. And one of the real important things that we're going to go over in the beginning of this webinar is that if AI doesn't know your brand, it will not be able to recommend you. So we're going to kind of talk about that and how you can fix it. But then also, you can use AI as almost like an assistant. And if it's trained right, it can become your assistant, it can become your scheduler, and it can even help on your marketing. Let's talk about that first issue with, is AI recommending you or replacing you? A lot of times we hear, oh, the leads ghosted me. Someone says they're interested and I never hear back from them. What we've seen is that, yes, some leads do ghost, but most of them don't. They just get a faster or better answer from someone else. And sometimes that's your competitor. But I'm here to tell you that AI is your chance to win them back. And you can win more of them. More consults, more bookings, more revenue. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to cover and why it matters. So first, we're going to go into why many aesthetic and wellness businesses are invisible in AI search, and this might be the case for you, and how that's causing them to lose a lot of leads, and maybe even leads they've had before that are now gone. We're also going to talk about how AI is changing the rules. So even if you ranked really well before, you may be ignored now by AI, and again, losing visibility and losing leads and revenue. We're also going to touch on how you can start using something like ChatGPT and other LLMs, primarily focusing on ChatGPT for now because that seems to be the one that most people use and it's the most accessible. And then how can you use that as your trained assistant to create content, help you with your follow-up on those leads, and really streamline your entire day. We're also going to get into what tools you can use and how to get started quickly, even if you're not really techie. So real quick, just need your attention here. It's time to focus, silence the phone, put the notifications, turn them to off. Next about 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how AI can go from ignoring your business to really becoming your 24/7 assistant. So real quick, who am I? Why am I even into this? I have 15 plus years in digital marketing. This is a passion I've had for a while. We've had more than 4 years now of helping primarily aesthetic and wellness businesses grow online. Myself and my team, we use AI every day in campaigns, in follow-ups, in team training. We have a lot of experience with it. And I'm really here to help you save time and really help you get more bookings without burning out. So who is this for? Who is this webinar for? If you own an aesthetic or wellness business and you're wearing multiple hats, maybe you've tried ChatGPT or you've heard of it, but you haven't really unlocked its potential yet. You also might want a faster follow-up system. You might want to generate better content, or you just need smoother systems and SOPs overall. This is for you. And if you're ready to scale, but you're not really interested in doing it with more overwhelm, this is also for you. So the first thing we want to go over is your business invisible to AI search? This is very important. You might rank well on Google. It doesn't mean AI is going to mention you, or you used to rank properly and now you're not ranking number one, or you could be ranking number one organically, but now you're not showing up in the AI search, which is what a lot of people are looking at. So ChatGPT, Google AI overviews, which there's a picture of right here. You can see an overview here. And even other web searches that are using AI like Perplexity now give direct answers, not links. So if you see over here in the business section, we used to just give direct links right to your business, and we still have the local pack and it's important. But now what's happening even above the local pack is that AI is just giving you an AI overview. And you can see here's one of our customers here that's showing up in the AI overview, and it's directly talking about them. That's where we want you guys to show up. So is your business invisible? If you're not mentioned in the language model, you're going to be skipped by AI. So what does that mean? Many businesses that used to get traffic are now seeing drops in that traffic, even though their organic rankings, meaning where they're ranking like in Google, hasn't changed. Why is that? Well, we've seen that about 65% of Gen Z and millennials now prefer AI-generated answers over search, which means they're just looking at that AI overview that I talked about. They're not even scrolling down past that. But visibility just isn't about keywords. It used to be keywords and a bunch of other ranking signals that you can focus on. Now you have to look at what you feed AI so that it can recommend you properly. So let's get into that. How do we fix this with SEO and LLM seeding if you're not showing up in the AI overviews and you're starting to lose traffic? So the number one rule, good search engine optimization still matters, right? There's really no super hack here. There's some things we can do to optimize, but you still have to have good SEO practices. Clear service pages, a service page for each one of your services, strong reviews, especially local reviews, and accurate citations are just a few things. All the on-page work for SEO and the off-page work for SEO that you may or may not be doing is still important. If you don't have someone that's working on that already for you, that's something to definitely look into. But now there is like an additional step that we can kind of start feeding the language models with some usable language. So how do we do that? What you guys are creating, if you are creating content, what you guys are writing, what you're adding to your website matters. So we've seen some really nice optimized formats to publish, and I'll give you some examples. So best of lists really work really well. So best med spas for hormone therapy in the city, right? Now you don't have to just mention yourself. You can mention other people, but you say, hey, I might not want to mention, my competitors. Totally fine. But what we're saying here is that a lot of these best of lists are ranking properly in AI. Maybe you can talk about some other types of best treatments, best type of filler, best type of injectables. So that kind of goes into the next thing where it's comparison tables. So Botox versus Dysport versus Xenomin. Those type of comparison tables where you're talking about the difference rank very well and help you get into the AI search results as well too. FAQs and with semantic headers, which is a little bit advanced, but there is a way to tell the browser this is an FAQ. Right? That's something, if you have someone on your SEO team or even your web dev team can do for you. But in general, the FAQ is the important part. FAQ stands for frequently asked questions. And all that means is a lot of times when people go to ChatGPT or even in Google, they're just asking questions now, right? Now it's not like always med spa near me, which, people still look for, but it could be, will Dysport make me look fake? Does Botox hurt? Those are the type of questions that people are asking, which then if you have in your frequently asked questions and you have a good answer for it, you can start popping up as the first result. And AI will most likely start recommending, say, your aesthetics and wellness practice said this, right? And then they get their answer and they come check you out. First person reviews and opinion pieces. So use your knowledge, right? Add reviews that clients are saying, write opinion pieces about what you think works best. Maybe what products you like to use, what procedures work, what kind of, you're having, you don't see the best results with. You just have to be honest and give actual knowledge and guidance. Those are the type of things that AI and search in general are looking for because they want to show that you have authority and that they can recommend you to other people. Another thing is free tools. So ROI calculators, review checklists, am I a candidate type quizzes, things like that. These can be made pretty easily nowadays, especially with AI. But in general, a lot of these things really rank really well because they're an interactive step that someone can use to actually figure out additional answers to their questions. So what's an example of this use? We dealt with one practice that, we added some comparison blogs and then some city-based best of lists to their site. They weren't showing up in ChatGPT at all. Now they're showing up with answers to those questions. So we now kind of talked about becoming invisible and then visible again in the search, but how can we make AI work inside your business? Now that we've got you to show up, hopefully generating more impressions, more leads, more engagement, how do we run the actual business so it's just more efficient? So you can use AI to do a lot. Reply to leads is the biggest one right now. There's plenty of AI systems out there. When a lead comes in, that could be a form on your website. That could be when someone texts you. That can even be when someone calls you. There's AI calling now. It's infancy, but it's definitely getting better, where you can just use AI to automatically reply to those leads. And then when they reply back, you can switch it over to yourself or some type of live agent. Another great one is to create SOPs. So if you don't have documented SOPs, standard operating procedures, for basically everything you do, AI can help write those very, very well. We'll kind of get into that a little bit more later, but everyone should have some type of SOP for how do you open, how do you close, what do you say in sales calls, what do you say on the phone. There's a lot that can be, there's a lot of procedures you guys are doing that can be standardized because if you ever need to hand that over to someone, it's right there. You don't have to train them on it. If someone leaves, you have SOPs there that, someone can train on. They're really important. Summarize calls or meetings. This is the big one that a lot of companies are using nowadays. A lot of aesthetic wellness businesses are not using. You can summarize calls, assuming you're recording them, you're letting the person know you're recording. Any meetings you guys have, if they're remote or in person, if you record them, you can summarize those as well too. And a lot of time there's a lot going on in those meetings or those calls, and a summary after you forget the next day, or if it's on the weekend, you forget on Monday, that can go into a file, or that can just go to a marketing team, or that can go to a client success coordinator. Now they have all the information they need. Also answering staff questions. A lot of times staff have a lot of questions. That can all be done through the SOPs. That can be done by using AI as well too. So now you have a list of frequently asked questions internally for new hires, for training, or also when you just iterate, right? When something changes, sometimes the answer to the question will change. And if your procedures and processes change, now you have that all done and taken care of, and very quickly in AI. Also drafting content and automating follow-up, which is kind of getting back to the reply leads. But for the drafting content, I know a lot of you guys are posting organically, which we do recommend. You can draft a ton of content that way. Not a lot of people are really writing blogs or even creating videos. You can use AI to draft the scripts for the videos. You can use AI to draft the blogs that you can write to help seed some of those LLMs, some of those FAQs, all that content. Now, we do recommend drafting this stuff. So it's kind of like AI helps with the initial draft, and then you personalize it with your human personalization. That's a big step. So let's look at how we can train ChatGPT to help you daily and build systems. Okay. So we say train it once, use it 100+ ways. So ChatGPT particularly has something called a custom GPT, which is a really powerful tool, and it could basically become your assistant, but you have to train it properly. There's a little bit of work that goes into this, but it's not a lot. And once you do it correctly and you train something correctly, you can use it almost forever to continually help you day to day. So you can feed this ChatGPT, this custom GPT, which is like an individual GPT that you can train, your service menus. You can feed it so it knows everything you do, your pricing. You can feed it frequently asked questions, even like some type of intake forms. Now, be careful with HIPAA. Obviously, we have to be careful with what we're doing there, depending on what type of information's on there. Your policies that you have. Also, your tone of voice. Are you guys very clinical? Are you guys very casual? The tone of voice, you can feed it and train AI, and it will then learn and then make sure it outputs in that same tone of voice. So if you're writing emails or direct messages or even blogs and video scripts, it will be in the tone of voice and the branding that fits your business and you. Also writing emails, sending direct messages, and even just like review templates. If a review comes in, you don't know how to respond to it, and we do recommend responding to reviews, you can use AI you can train it on it, and then your reviews are going to sound very much like you. You don't even have to think about it. Also, like getting on the sales side, sales objections. A lot of times, if you can listen to, the sales, or if you're the salesperson or you have someone doing sales for you, there's a lot of questions that are asked. Like, how much does this cost? How long will it take to recover? And a lot of people are just giving like real quick answers, or giving you objections on why they don't want to come in, or why they can't afford it, or, why they don't want to be on a treatment plan. Feed those into AI, get the objections, and then you or your salesperson will be armed with great ways to overcome those objections. All right, so once you train this custom GPT, now it becomes a tool for you. So let's say we've loaded in our service menu and our FAQs and a bunch of, common objections that we get, maybe even some phone calls on the sales side for some leads. So what you can do now is you can just ask it questions. It becomes your tool. So you can say something like, write a DM reply for a lip fill or inquiry. It has all your information. How much does it cost? What the downtime is, what the recovery is, and it can just write a reply without you even asking, and someone else can do this for you. Explain our cancellation policy nicely. Let's say someone wants to cancel and they don't understand why they have to, it's a $20 cancellation policy, or it's, some type of deposit that gets put to the next service. 10 seconds, writes it, also politely and professionally, remove the emotion. You can say things like, give me 3 blog topics based on our services. Not only can it write the topics for you, it can give you the blog ideas, it can write the topics, then you can kind of go through and make your little edits. The idea of saying, hey, I don't have time to write blogs, or don't know how to write blogs anymore. Now that you have a ChatGPT, custom GPT that's trained, it will pretty much do it for you to get you started. What's our protocol for bruising questions? So you can give this to someone on the team, or maybe like an RN or an injector or something, and they can use this to answer a lot of different questions where they don't have to come to you for everything, but also make sure that the questions are answered professionally, answered correctly, right? And then that can go back into training the GPT as well too. So think of this tool, AI, as onboarding a team member. It really starts paying off fast once you just put a little bit of time into it. So let's go over some of the mistakes that we see when it comes to AI. The first mistake we see, it's very common. It is getting better, but you're not automating follow-up. So what does that mean? That means when someone texts you, That means when a form comes in for some kind of inquiry, if you have a chat bot or a chat window, when a chat comes in, speed really closes the deals, but AI can respond instantly. So if someone has a question nowadays, they want to be responded to immediately, like basically within a few seconds to maybe a few minutes. If not, they go somewhere else, or they forget about it and they're no longer interested. So speed to lead is really important, but let AI do that for you. A lot of leads are lost after that first message. Let AI follow up for you. A lot of times people, you might be on the way to work, they see something, they click on it, they write you a quick message, they work all day, they come home, they're tired, they're taking care of kids or whatnot, and they just completely forgot. Let AI see that and send them another message. Hey, I noticed that I didn't hear back from you. Are you still interested in the service? What can we help you with? Those systems all exist and they can be set up very simply to make sure that you guys are getting 2 leads and you're following up with automation. So quick fixes that you can implement right away. Miss calls. If you miss a call, you can get an instant text offer to that call. Very simple to do. Someone calls, they miss it, text goes right to them. AI chatbots, which I quickly mentioned on your site, can answer questions and actually book consultations at this point. And they're very good at it. Smart follow-up and workflows is what we talked about. So when a lead comes in, AI can text and email them, can even call them as well too, to try to re-engage cold leads. And you need to re-engage these leads for like up to 2 weeks. You'd be surprised how many people are interested and then they just completely ignore you. And then after like 5 or 6 texts, a couple calls, and a couple emails, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to go. I just wasn't feeling good for a while. I wasn't ready to come in. Let's book something." Happens a lot. And if you're not re-engaging with these leads, you miss all of them. AI outbound calling is something I quickly talked about to qualify and book. I would say right now, where we're at with AI, it's not perfect by any means. But if you're using it just to kind of outbound call to qualify or book or follow up, it actually works pretty well. And I will say probably a couple months from now, it's going to be in a position where it can actually, book and consult. It can do that right now, but I would say it's probably not there at the level of service, most likely you're looking to offer. Also, appointment reminders and lead scoring. So appointment reminders you should be doing. I should be following up, not only just as reminders, but also let them know information, what's parking like, what to expect when they get there, maybe even a personal message from who they're going to be working with. All that stuff matters to really get your show up rate to increase. But a lot of that can be automated. And if it isn't already, it's very simple to do. So just a quick example, a med spa we worked with, we just used 3 different workflows. It was like an appointment reminder, it was like a lead follow-up, and then I believe we did a follow-up to the service, asking for a review. And just adding that plus a chat widget, we were able to increase bookings by 30% just by doing that, not changing any ads or anything like that. Okay, getting into mistake number 2. This is more along the lines of what you could do inside your actual practice. You're not capturing and repurposing your expertise. So a lot of people say, "Oh my God, I'm so busy and I wear so many hats." And that's most likely true for a lot of people. You're most likely already saying the right things in meetings. You're saying the right things in consultations or even some type of like call. But those insights are just stuck and they're not getting reused again. So you might keep saying the same thing over and over and again. But what you can end up doing is taking that information, putting it into some type of GPT or using AI to kind of summarize it. And then that becomes some type of standard operating procedure for someone else, which you eventually can train someone else to do exactly what you're doing. So 2 little hacks that we love using. It's a program called Fathom, which we use with Google Meet. And what it does is when you have a meeting, anything that's online, it will transcribe that meeting for you and it will also summarize it and we'll send it out to anyone at the meeting if you want to set it that way. That has been a game changer for us, and we're starting to train some of the aesthetic wellness practices to use it as well too. You also can, if you do in-person meetings, you can just record it in person. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, there's a lot of times where people meet, they're not paying attention, or they're busy, or they have to get to an appointment. And when you summarize something, get back to them, that's how you can actually get action that's taken and also get learnings that stay. So that's a real big one. Fathom, I think it's actually free, to be honest. Call recordings, you can drop them right into ChatGPT. So this is really good for sales calls or consultation calls. A lot of times people will call and they'll ask questions. Take that information, summarize it, put it right into ChatGPT. Again, be cognizant of HIPAA, please. And what you can do is extract FAQs or even training points so that after a month of these, you can say, okay, here's all the questions they're asking, here's all the answers. And now your front desk has that right for them. Their sales technique is going to increase a lot. That can be done for consults as well too. But turn the consults more into standard operating procedures, right? So like the consultation should be very structured, should be very helpful. You're guiding someone, right? So there should be a structure that people can follow. And also, if you're doing all the consults, this is a way to start training other people to do the consults to kind of step out a little bit and work on the business, not so much in the business. We already mentioned blog ideas. We talked about email sequences. A lot of people want to send emails. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to design them. You can literally just, once you train this with, like let's say your service menus, maybe put in a few offers that you run, maybe even put in some like events that you have. You can start cranking out email sequences that you can literally send out one email a month that it's, written for you. Also creating like training threads. And I kind of talked about this already, but these are things your team can read and reuse, right? So a lot of times if you're teaching, and you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again, that's just a lack of systems. That's just a lack of processes there. Someone needs to be able to and access your knowledge and your expertise in an SOP or in some type of training thread. AI can help you write all of those. So use custom GPTs to handle internal FAQs and support staff onboarding. So mistake 3 we're seeing is you're still kind of creating content from scratch. You're opening up your phone or you're opening up your computer and you're just trying to write. You're probably providing a gold mine worth of knowledge in your consultations, probably even your team meetings, but again, it's staying trapped. So use AI to turn those words into your SOPs, into your blogs, into your captions, into your video scripts, into your posts, right? If you're like, well, I'm not sure what to post. Well, maybe you guys just did a training on some type of new laser that you got. Take that, have it turn into a client-facing blog, and then take that blog, turn it into a script, shoot a quick video, similar to what I'm just doing right here. You don't need a lot of fancy stuff. And then you can actually have AI chop that up and turn it into posts for you. So one video or one blog can be turned into multiple different points, even like 2 weeks worth of content. Okay. So all these mistakes, what do we do? I kind of went into this a little bit. You need to have a system that can fix this, right? So transcribing client calls, again, keep HIPAA in mind, FAQs, or training videos. Ask ChatGPT to extract a blog, or what topics can you write about? Get outlines, right? Refine them with your expertise. So ask for an outline on just a blog or a video script. Make sure you're refining these a little bit. If you're just kind of going from ChatGPT or AI to script, it can work, but people are kind of smart and they're understanding, what is AI and what is not. Not everyone, because it's kind of new, but people are really looking for your expertise, right? Can you get the results that they're looking for? And if you kind of put your branding, your positioning on stuff and your expertise into what you're doing, it's going to get you much better results. You could turn outlines into that script or blog, which we talked about. Another little hack that we love is something called Whisper, WISPR. What it does is its voice dictate to copy. So what you would do is, let's say you're not a really fast typer, or you are a fast typer, you make a lot of errors or whatever. You would just use your microphone and you talk to it, and then it dictates it right there for you, and it can help you just write things way faster. Or what we use it for is talking to AI. So a lot of times if you're typing something like a prompt into AI, you might need like a kind of long prompt to get something, but typing it takes forever. You can just talk and say, okay, hey, I'm going to give you my service menu. I want you to come up with a few different offers that work for me. Make sure the offers are within, maybe $150 to $200 each. Make sure they're, targeted towards women, middle-aged women. And then instead of typing that all, you just talk it right in. And then that prompt goes right into ChatGPT and it makes your life way faster. Also, stuff like Canva AI. If you're not familiar with Canva, it's a great tool where you can just design posts. They have templates, stuff like that. And they have a lot of AI built in there as well, too. So all these different tools, most of them are very affordable or some are even free, can help just speed up your day and help you create more content and help you have a system to keep growing with. So another quick example is, we worked with a clinic. We were able to create 12 Instagram posts from one single training session, right? So they were training a team. We just recorded it. We used AI to create the posts, to create the images, and they had 2 weeks of posts right there off of one single idea that they didn't have to think about. And it was valuable as well, too. Okay, mistake number 4. We kind of gave you all this information, but don't overcomplicate your AI stack. There's a lot out there, right? And there's a lot of, shiny new objects. You don't need 12 tools. We recommend 4 that basically talk to each other. So ChatGPT becomes your main assistant. Now, if you like Claude or Grok, or that's fine. But in general, we recommend ChatGPT. But a lot of them are very similar. Gemini is another one that has gotten more popular recently. Now, high level is going to be a CRM. So if you don't have some type of CRM that is managing your leads, managing your calls, managing your texts, managing everything on the kind of the sales side, not once it goes inside your electronic medical records, but like your leads, you definitely need something. High level is one of the best ones. It's very affordable. They're adding tons of new features every single day, and a lot of the agencies actually use it as well too. You probably might even seen it. Whisper, I already talked about, fast content creation. as fast as you can talk, you don't have to type. Don't let that be a limiting factor. And then Fathom. So Fathom is going to be meeting notes, transcriptions, SOPs. I would say if you get started with those four, you will be well ahead of the game, and you'll notice big differences in how much work you're getting done, how fast you're doing it. So each tool kind of serves like a role together, but together they kind of will help you without having to hire anyone, right? And then the total cost here, ChatGPT is about $20. High level is about $100. Whisper, I think, is maybe 10, and Fathom can be free. I mean, you're looking at under $200 to basically, a month that can do more than hiring multiple people. So start with also just one automation, right? And what we recommend is like a missed call, quick text, and then like try to book a consult. And that can be done through high level, right? So you don't have to do everything at once. Start little by little so you start getting these automations in place. All right, mistake number 5. You're not using AI to support your team. We've kind of talked about this a lot. It's not just for marketing, right? It's not just about saying, hey, I need more bookings or I need to write more posts, which is it's wonderful for. I need to write blogs. It's really a training system, right? And it's a system and a tool. So as I mentioned, draft those standard operating procedures and onboarding docs. If you're listening and you're saying, I don't have any SOPs, start writing them, right? And start creating a culture of SOPs where what's going to happen is some of your employees, if you have any, might start writing those SOPs as well too. And then when something changes, you go back and make a little change to SOP. Now you're building a scalable, repeatable business. Simulate client objections on tough conversations. So if you notice you're having trouble with sales or someone on the sales side is struggling, just talk to ChatGPT and say, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. It will take you through role playing and tough conversations so you can learn. So when you do have that with a person, you have some experience and you know what to say. We talked about writing scripts. We talked about writing, different checklists. Anytime there's policy updates, write it all for you. It could also help staff respond accurately to client questions, which is, we've talked about as well too. You don't have to be the bottleneck for everything. They don't have to come to you for questions. And now they have this wealth of knowledge, specifically if it's trained on your documents, your FAQs, and your processes and procedures that someone else can go to and answer questions, or you can come to and quickly answer questions. So yeah, another clinic in practice, they used AI to build a full front desk training hub, literally in one afternoon. They just loaded in all their information. And then when their client success coordinator, like their front desk had some turnover, they just used that to train the next person. And also it was there as a bit of a crutch. So when the person had questions, went to custom GPT first, asked the question, didn't have to bother the owner anymore. So here's just like a few real wins, from clinics using AI. So we've seen one client cut after hours response time to like 1 to 2 minutes. So when they're not there, they're still responding to leads within 1 to 2 minutes using AI. They're not doing any work and they're still available 24/7. We mentioned the 30% more bookings after adding a smart chatbot. So there's chatbots that can actually talk to people. And again, you can train them and you can give them your service menu, you can give them pricing where you don't even have to answer those questions. And then they can try to push to get some type of consult or notify you and then set up some type of meeting or even a consultation with a real person. We've seen 75% less time spent on manual texting. So we do not recommend you guys manually texting leads that come in. It takes too much time. And if you're spending time on that, there's so many other things you should be working on the business, not in the business. So all that manual texting can really be automated until someone basically responds or has a question or, wants to take it to the next stage. Then that get pushed to you or a real life person to then kind of close it from there. And then we talked a lot about the custom GPTs. They're now helping answering staff questions and really saving managers hours and hours per week of answering questions, retraining, training new people, cleaning up training. It's really become a really nice assistant that has offloaded a lot of the questions and work from owners. All right, let's go over some final takeaways here. So AI is not the future. It's really your next team member and it's ready now. Train your AI assistant. First and foremost, don't just dabble with it. Sometimes people just open it and they just write questions, and honestly, that works, but train it first. Use a custom GPT, give it information about your business. Even talk to it. Use Whisper and just talk to it about your business. That alone will get your answers so much more focused and so much better. Use AI to convert leads, answer questions, and support your team. We talked about this a lot. If you're not using some form of this already, you're basically falling behind because a lot of other people are using it and it's allowing them to free up more time to work on things that matter more and that are, levers for higher value than converting leads or answering quick questions. Start with one workflow. Like I mentioned, that missed callback text is a great one. And then let AI kind of take the work off your plate. So if you kind of just get used to using one automation, you then can say, okay, where else can I put an automation? When someone emails me after hours, I can put something in. When someone calls, there's a way to, after hours, there's a way to text them and say, hey, we're closed at this point. we'll have someone get back to you. Let's say it's over the weekend, get back to you on Monday. And then that can send a message to the person and put an opportunity in CRM. When they come in Monday, it's done there for you. So we said AI isn't the future. It's your next team member ready now. So I did give like a little bit of a cheat sheet here. If you guys want to take this a little bit deeper, this is our large language model friendly content templates that help rank in AI. And this is what we've seen. So, best of lists. If you don't have this stuff on your site, these are things you can write. You can use AI to write them. Obviously put your own expertise into it, but best of lists, best fillers for smile lines in the city you're in. Comparison tables, we talked about this, Botox, Xenamin, which is better for you. FAQs, one question per section, meaning just ask one question and one answer, and then do that over and over again. So how long does PRFs last? A quick hack here as well too is put these FAQs on your service pages. So if you have a PRF or a PRP even page, have a bunch of questions related to that, and then AI can start recommending your page, but also you're answering questions for your clients, potential clients. First person reviews and use cases, I tried RF microneedling. Here's what I learned. This can be used for products. This can be for services, and this can be your first person review, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be from a client. If you can get it from a client, it has a little bit more weight, but people want to know answers to questions and they want to know your expertise, right? They want to know they're in good hands. They want to know you can get them the transformation they're after, and they want to know you're an expert and they're going to an expert. Opinion-led content, why I stopped offering Groupon deals and what I did instead. That's just an example that you can talk about. And then free tools or templates. So am I a good candidate for this? Skincare quiz, things like that, little tools that people can use. People love using that. And what it ends up doing is giving some type of result at the end. We're also, even just like price estimates as well too, how much something costs and give an estimate. At the end, it gives you the estimate and then it can push you to a booking or collect information for you to follow up. So if you want any help with this, if you have any additional questions, if you just want to talk about AI and how you can help implement it, let me know. We can help you train AI assistants. We can set up smart follow-ups for you. We can repurpose your content. All that stuff is almost table stakes at this point. It is something you should be doing. You're also more than welcome. I'll stand for a little bit and just answer some questions. Happy to do that. But you can also book a free strategy session with me. medspamarketingportal.com/recommendation-session. Sign up there, free. We'll take a look at your website. We'll take a look at how you're ranking. We'll talk about AI and see what we can do to kind of help you out. If you have any other questions, I'll stay on for a little bit and answer. I'm happy to talk more in depth about this. Thank you guys for your time, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Thanks.